I'll take you through the newspapers this morning. Going to start with the broadsheets, and the Irish Times is leading with the brilliant story here that Sepp Blatter is going to the World Cup. He does not give one shit about the fact that he is persona non grata, banned from all footballing activities. Vladimir Putin has personally invited Sepp Blatter, and when Vladimir Putin invites you to Russia, you go.
Absolutely.
He's like, I don't know where the meeting's going to be, and it's going to happen at some time, but that's a secret at the moment. But that man has the biggest brass balls that any sports administrator in the world has ever possessed. Apparently Gianni Infantino is like, not really want to meet him. He's not going to the first game. He's going to he's just going to keep them guessing, keep FIFA guessing the whole time.
As sports administrators go, there's some pretty big balls out there.
Yeah.
But Blatter definitely.
Like he makes everybody else's balls look pretty small.
Yeah, they're there's two wheelbarrows carrying them around.
He tweeted the other week about who his predictions were for the tournament, and he was like, the top four is going to be whatever, Spain, France, etc. And then his two dark horses, who he described as Uruguay and Peru, I think. He described them as potential troublemakers. And I'm like, well, that's a very interesting kind of phrase there from you, Mr. Blatter, to refer to dark horses as a troublemaker. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see where he does pop up. Just keeping them guessing is definitely the way to go.
Yeah.
Then that Darragh O'Shea column, well worth a read today about the importance of giving forwards the freedom to express themselves. And that picture of Damien Comer, he is a big boy, Damien Comer.
He is.
We were just chatting off air that we'll talk about the game a little bit later on, but Galway, as far under the radar as a team who are odds on to win a provincial championship can possibly be.
It's perfect. It's absolutely perfect. The way they managed to beat Mayo, like Kevin Walsh couldn't have planned this any better. A relatively average performance, or sorry, a perceived average performance is exactly what they need, and a win, and that's exactly what they got, and nobody's talking about them anymore. Like, if you really
it was about 6 months ago, though. It does feel like it was about 6 months ago when they.
It was May the 13th.
Yeah, and so the game in between, no one gave a shit about, because again, it was too easy for them. It's almost like
it does. Yeah, it does seem, and that's the thing with the Connacht Championship. You're kind of going, who exactly played in the first round? You are, but it is exactly right. I remember thinking at the time, if Galway lost, where would that put them? But I tell you, it was just going to be a bit of a kick up the arse to them, because especially after the league campaign, they might just, Walsh should kind of use it as, okay, now we need to regroup, and you're not that far ahead of yourselves. But literally a small 1 or 2 point win, perfect. In a bit of a turgid affair, it's set up absolutely ideal.
Yeah, and then like a pipe cleaning the next day against Sligo,
exactly,
which no one's kind of paid any attention to at all.
Yeah. Well, that was just expected.
And because the games aren't on TV, I think the games aren't on TV. People are like, okay, you see 5 minutes highlights, and also the highlights packages, not really giving you a sense of actually what happened. It's like score. How did they get the ball? What happened there? What was that red card for? You wouldn't get it from the Sunday game. Right, all on the table. This is the Examiner's lead. This is the story that Cork City have made a big money signing, and what we like about this is that Damien Delaney was congratulated by Roma. We get to this. Will we get to this now? Yeah, we'll get to this now. So Damien Delaney, Roma tweeted, "Congratulations on an amazing career with Crystal Palace." And we're like, wow, what's the story with this? Damien Delaney, Roma. Was there a link there? Were they in for him? Did he pick Cork City over the Eternal City? And then underneath the comments, it's like, it's because he saved the life of the child of a Roma director recently. Wow, this guy's an absolute complete legend, hero. Not true. He's giving interviews like, I have no idea. I don't know, definitely not that. It's just not true.
It's the strangest sports story that we've had all year, this Roma tweet. I'm not sure if we already brought it up on screen or not, but it's just, like, who is the person sitting down in their office in Roma and is like, that obscure defender has retired from Crystal Palace. Let's wish him well, and let's just confuse the entire continent. Let's have them scratching their chins there, trying to work this thing out. What is the link? We need to get somebody on from the Roma press office to explain this to us, because Damien Delaney has absolutely no clue why Roma have wished him well.
Yeah.
You could have ran with it for a while, couldn't you?
Yeah, it's like, I was the Heimlich maneuver,
Yeah.
Nobody else could do it, but my background is...
I've training in this.
Yeah. It's a brilliant signing for Cork City, and it's like, it's good to see the flow of top quality people coming back from England. 34. So I looked that up for you.
But he was still, was he captain last year of Crystal Palace, or he was definitely regular every game, wasn't he?
Yeah, and so they kept signing players, and he would keep kind of winning his place back. So
yeah, he's it's actually a very good sign for the League of Ireland if they can start to manage that.
For sure, yeah. You're not going to be able to find his age there, Jared, I don't think.
There it is there. Grazie, Damien. from Roma. Like 2, 3.
The thing is the graphic as well. Somebody's gone to the trouble of actually creating a graphic. Oh, right. I hadn't seen the follow-up tweet that he signed for Cork City. It's incredible. It's absolutely incredible. Like, what is going on here? We need to get to the bottom of this. And the emojis are kind of strange as well. Well, actually, no, they're not. It's the actual Cork City logo. It's absolutely astonishing. Does somebody have the Twitter account password for Roma?
Who's a Cork fan?
Yeah, and it's just like, one day I'll get my revenge, one day I'll use this. Yeah. And now they're just sitting back laughing behind the curtain.
We have a video here as well, have a look.
Can you explain the Roma link?
I genuinely can't, but people seem to be getting good mileage out of it, to be honest. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't spoken to anyone. I'm not big on the whole social media thing. It's just people text me saying it's going on, and I'm not 100% sure what it is, but I know there's something there. But it's quite humorous, to be honest.
So, like, there's no actual story to it?
No, there's no story. It's definitely not the one that was going around with me saving someone or something like that. No, I'm not sure. But I appreciate Roma for their efforts, really. Maybe the guy that runs the account is possibly a Palace fan, or I don't know. I genuinely don't know. That's the only link I could possibly.
Yeah, so the plot thickens, right? Because after the comments, Roma's English account tweeted to its 250,000 followers, "Nothing but respect for a true gentleman and ultimate professional." And then he told us at the hotel he didn't want any publicity for his heroic actions. He was just doing what anyone would have done in that situation, and for this reason, we will respect his wishes.
Oh, so they've doubled down.
I mean, that's it's just
absolutely
a case of mistaken identity, and like there's a doppelganger for Damien Delaney wandering around saving
some other
lives.
Damien Delaney guy who was there on holidays, like just absolutely spitting now, going, "Come on!"
What do I have to do?
It's not that Thomas Delaney player from Denmark, I wonder, is this? That they just thought there could only be one Delaney and one Delaney only who played professional football.
Right, after the Irish Time, Independent, the Indo, McGrath to resist calls to stay on with Daisha. This is an exclusive from Michael Verney. And then Farrell looking for a bit of attitude and fight from Angry Ireland. Spain shocked as manager agrees to take Real reins. We'll talk about all those stories a little bit later on. And then Ireland's Louise Quinn was the picture on the back there, obviously. Having broken her nose but wearing a protective mask. Ireland beaten 1-0 yesterday in Stavanger in Norway. Derek McGrath, the decision to leave, it looked like it was preordained from the start of the season. Just the amount of effort and time that he would put in, the leave that he would take from his day job to make sure that he had all the I's dotted and T's crossed. You could see that it was taking that personal toll on him, and yet you really want him to give it one more year to kind of have a full deck for everybody fit to deal with, but it looks like it's not going to be.
I think it's just, the bigger question is the whole inter-county manager, what's involved now, what's at stake, the time and effort that's being put into it. It's anyone I think who goes over 3 years as an inter-county manager either is completely retired from their own job, is financially independent and has just plenty of time in their hands. If you are, somewhere between 35 and 55 and you're also trying to hold down a day job, it's 2-3 years max. It's just grueling. It's grueling. It's and I know we all know about this, but it honestly, like, I'd say the amount of time that those guys, and especially he, I could see, I met him once or twice, and he's a real type of man manager type of guy. I'd say he spends so much time
talking to everybody,
talking to the guys who were from number 16 to 30 on the panel. Remember Horan speaking about that, taking time, see where they are, and probably getting involved. And you end up, unless your backroom team is enormous. Yeah. But even at that, you don't want to delegate away too much stuff. You need to have that kind of personal touch, because a player would expect that. And if you start the template of that, you can't then just stop it, in year 2. So if I'm all kind of, making sure the players, and then in year 2 I say, actually, I'm pushing it on to someone else.
Yeah, they don't love me
why
anymore.
did you do that?
Yeah.
So he's a type of fella who I'd say he kind of had to do that from year 1. You could definitely see that kind of thing being involved with the team. And I'd say it's been very, very tough tough station.
It must be difficult though if you get kind of a thrill out of the whole kind of massive nature of an intercounty management setup, that you're like, I love the kind of borderline professionalism of it, the kind of really delving into the players' minds, into statistics and all that sort of stuff, and it really feels like a borderline professional setup. And then to have to step away from that because of the necessity of life, because you have to go back to the day job eventually, because you have got a family to look after. It's a real kind of thing you've got to toss up between each other. And I wonder, does it leave us leaning more towards the idea that, you know, maybe we should just front up and say intercounty managers can get paid for what they do?
I absolutely think so. Like, I mean, I think it is coming, and I think it has to come, because it is a full-time job. It is. Like, I mean, it's a full-time job, and you know, you speak with guys who are involved, or fellas who have been involved, and if you're being serious about it, you know, from an organisation's point of view, you want the best fellas doing it, and you don't want a situation where guys are under major pressure, which some fellas are. Like, I mean, and obviously he is, and you can see other fellas when they come out there, you know, the relief of kind of jumping away from it, because the pressure is so much. But it's not only the pressure of the games and stuff like that. I'd say that's nearly the enjoyable part. It's the pressure of everything around that. Have I got all the boxes ticked? And, you know, if Kildare are doing something, well, maybe I need to also do that. And so everyone is always trying to replicate each other, which only starts adding on more. And then to get an edge, someone else adds on something. They don't remove it. You know, someone doesn't go, well, actually, I think we should just take that away. That S&C stuff.
Let's do less work.
So everyone just does more work. So it just keeps piling up. And I think it has to be a situation where you say, listen, okay, there's going to be a standard rate, or whatever it is. I don't know, you know, mileage or whatever it is, whatever the thing is. But I think it's inevitable that it's going to come in.
Bring it above the table at long last.
Just bring it above. Look, it happens, as we all know, but, you know, let's put some kind of a...
Well, it's clearly happening in some counties, right?
Yeah.
Where massive amounts of money are being paid to intercounty managers, however it's being managed, legally or whatever. And then there are other counties where people are getting absolutely nothing for it. And you're like, well, like, the system is skewed, and it's clearly skewed in favour of the teams that are cheating, Maria, because that's what the rules are, and breaking the rules. Like, but we can't acknowledge this, because if we do, we're living in the real world, and if we live in the real world, well, then we'll have to address the problems.
We'll move on to the back page of the Herald this morning. Keaney set to stay on. This is another story about somebody who might depart an intercounty setup. Veteran keen to progress with Gilroy's Dubs project. He's 35 years old now, but the Dublin manager said it's a 35-year-old who obviously resurrected his Dublin hurling career this season, has already outlined his eagerness to be part of his reconstruction of the team in 2019. So good news there for the Dubs, I think, to have him around for one more year, and it probably will be a one more year kind of scenario for Conor Keaney. On the back page of the Sun this morning, it's "My lips are sealed. Griezmann's silent on club future." This is Antoine Griezmann, who says he has his mind made up about what football club he's going to be playing for next season, but he's not going to reveal who that football club is just yet, not until after the World Cup. You've also got Norway 1, Ireland 0, Prem get Real lift, and that's obviously the new Real Madrid boss, Julian Lopetegui. And of course, injury fear for Marcus Rashford. Marcus Rashford and the England camp have touched down in Russia, and it seems that the Manchester United forward is going to be an injury doubt for their first game, which is coming up next week. This is now Tab of the Morning to you on the back page of the Irish Daily Star. Mayo for Sam. Pope's Knock visit to play havoc with club fixtures. So the Pope is obviously going to Knock at some stage later on this summer, and it looks to delay the second round of the Mayo GAA Club Football Championships. So around 800 senior and intermediate club players in the county were due to be in action on that weekend, 4 months after their first round games. However, it was obviously confirmed on Monday that Pope Francis will visit Knock on the Sunday, August 26th. 50,000 people are going to travel to Mayo for that, and the security arrangements mean that no GAA games will be allowed to go ahead, because I presume all the GAA stewards are the ones at the Catholic Church. It's like, I want those stewards. They're the best stewards in the country.
Well, the best bibs. They know exactly what to do.
They do have the best bibs.
No Palestinian
Nothing
flags.
like a 4-month break in between championship matches.
On the back page of the Mirror, it's Jeepers Keepers. United on red alert as new Real boss and ex-goalie Lopetegui targets De Gea move. Of course, Lopetegui working closely with David De Gea at the moment for the World Cup, can probably whisper into his ear if he wants him to come over to Real Madrid for him. And you've also got rebels to give Colin a chance there. That's Pat Nolan's story here as well on the back of the Daily Mirror. Cork boss Ronan McCarthy saying he's given Colin O'Neill every chance to play in the Munster final against Kerry, which is on June 23rd.
Yes, he is.
On the back of The Guardian, it is welcome to Russia. Rashford injury scare as England reach training base. And I presume it's the same story. Yes, it is. Same picture indeed on the front page of the Daily Telegraph. Injury scare for Rashford. Fears over United striker as England check in to Russian World Cup base. It's a obviously big story from an England perspective, but if they can't beat Tunisia, then without Marcus Rashford in, they're in a small bit of trouble.
I know. I mean, who are we in Ireland to look down our noses at the Tunisian football team who qualified for the World Cup?
Well,
I pulled them out yesterday in my family World Cup, and I said, because I've been actually secretly, I've been saying to myself, there's been very little about them this year. And you know, all the talk of
England or Tunisia?
England.
Okay, I was like, yeah, are you going to
yeah. That's not good. But I'm seeing it as a sign. I'm going to put it. What price are they?
25?
England?
Yeah.
They're closer than that. They're about 13, 14 to 1, I think.
Are they?
I think so,
That's
yeah.
ridiculous. Are they?
Yeah.
Belgium 25?
Are Belgium 25? Well, Belgium are 25. England are outside Belgium. They're the next one's out.
Okay, let me just look this up here. With
I'm pretty sure England are
I'll get
in
the
the
Buzz
teens.
Sports odds
They're
up
not
here.
bad, but it's not a bad thing. Like, I mean, what I like about it is they're under the radar, shall we say? You know, okay, maybe here, but there's not the usual bluff that's been happening, in all the other years. Look, I mean, they're young.
How England are going to win the World Cup? Those stories that
Yeah,
you see.
this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
You know, so and I think there's the expectation levels. I'd say even I don't know, but from what I'm seeing in the UK is pretty low. Southgate seems to have done a very good job, as in keeping a lid on personalities and everything else. And
I think Southgate's a really good manager. Like,
I think
for this job anyway.
Yeah, I think he suits it perfectly. So, yeah, like, I mean, they've got some seriously good talent there.
I mean, I would be delighted if they won the World Cup. It would
Yeah.
justify us watching Stoke versus Burnley on a Tuesday night on Sky. Like, oh, look, we're watching some players who might at some point win a World Cup here.
I actually noticed something else today in The Sun while you bring up that idea, because I personally think that the Raheem Sterling thing has been this opportunity for the squad to become galvanised a little bit more, and Gareth Southgate's done that very well. The Sun have done a 2-page splash on Harry Kane today, and you'll never guess whether or not they kind of approach this in a positive or a negative way. Captain Sensible is what they call him. No booze, no tattoos, hard-working, reliable,
White.
and devoted to his childhood sweetheart. This bloke is too good to be true. Mr. Normal bidding for England World Cup glory. Captain Sensible Harry Kane.
Oh, talking about just waiting for the waiting for the fall.
Right in the middle of the paper. Why didn't they put that on the front?
Yeah, so I'm completely wrong, obviously. Belgium are 11 to 1 with Boyles. England are 16 to 1.
16.
I think maybe in America, maybe that's where I was hearing those odds earlier, like a couple of months back. Portugal 25, Croatia 33, Uruguay 28, Colombia 40, and then after that it's like Russia 50, Poland 50.
Russia 50s, geez, that's...
I mean,
you may as well just throw your money down the toilet straight away.
I presume it's fixed for them to reach the quarterfinals, right?
Absolutely, I reckon there's something going on.
If they make the quarterfinals, it will be an absolute scandal. It'll be a full-blown scandal. There's no question about it.
I mean,
They will have to have...
Are they that bad?
They're absolutely terrible. It's probably the worst Russian team that they've ever sent to a World Cup.
how did they do in the Winter Olympics that were held in Sochi in Russia? How did they do?
They're-
Did they top the medals table?
It's kind of a little bit more of an indigenous sport, isn't it? Winter sports. But when I say it's the worst team that they've ever sent to a World Cup, they haven't sent many, obviously, since the dissolution of the USSR. But like it will be a shock for them to get out of their group. If they win their last 16 game, which should be against Spain or Portugal, then, you know...
Oh, it's all set up for them.
It's,
It's all set up for them.
Like,
I'm not even going to say anything.
Ronaldo gets sent off in the first minute,
Yeah.
or whoever from Spain is like actually being good gets sent off. Somebody else gets
Spain down to
Sergio
nine
Ramos
players.
dislocates his shoulder 3 minutes in.
Well, that would be karma, wouldn't it? It'd be nothing else, just pure old-fashioned karma.
The
Sergio
Moscow
Ramos'
Times,
shoulder.
aging and inexperience, why Russia is doomed to fail. Well, that's managing expectations, all right, in the Moscow Times this morning. That's the front page from them. So yeah, I mean, obviously they have a pretty crappy team. Destined for defeat, critics say the squad is drawn from the worst generation in the history of Russian football. They obviously didn't do very well when they jointly held the Euros with Ukraine either, did they?
They did.
Oh, it was Poland. There you go, that's why they didn't do well.
Yeah, that's
Well,
right.
they were in that competition.
They were in that
They did
competition.
okay.
Yeah. Obviously, they were not going to be jointly holding anything with Ukraine. Ascot acts to keep out drugs and rowdies. This is Ascot, Royal Ascot. They're going to have sniffer dogs. Breathalyzer tests at the gate on the way in, because apparently people have been getting coked off their tits and going racing in the UK and starting fights. Like, what the hell?
I don't think it's been there's been a few clips of, let's just say, punters who've been enjoying themselves a bit hot and heavy. I think the next thing would be at the old boxing matches.
No,
That's fairly
it's too late for that.
Yeah, it's way too late for that. You want to have more than sniffer dogs at that, I think.
Yeah, on a completely unrelated note, there is the other sports story which we're going to be keeping an eye on over the next 24 hours, and it is Conor McGregor's hearing in New York. Big Mac and flies, I just forgot to mention this earlier on, that's going to be on the front of the Sun this morning. McGregor jets out for New York court fight. That's Cian Cowley, of course, the other guy up before a judge. It seems that they're not going to be sent to jail. In fact, I'm going to make a very big prediction here. They are not going to be sent to jail.
Community service, I predict some level of community service where he gets to go into the inner city and teach some kids how to do a proper Brazilian jiu-jitsu roll, and it's like, that's it.
That's it. Done.
And then
go home, please.
The fight with what's his name?
Khabib. Nurmagomedov.
Yeah. The fight with Khabib gets made 3 days later, and it's like 100 million super fight.
I would sign up for those Conor McGregor classes. If I could be one of those inner city kids that he can come and teach how to throw a hand choke at something,
that's
I would
him
definitely sign
from
up.
the aftermath there. Congrats, Cian Kelly, from the cells to the stadiums. Not a scratch. They done nothing. Jet leaves Tuesday, my brother. Have a good one. #animal. So that was Cian Kelly winning in Belfast. His first fight as a professional on Saturday. So it's been a good week for him so far. Private jetting it off to NYC, having a bit of crack.
I would happily
a
get
party afterwards.
I would happily get in trouble with
How
the law.
bad is that?
Easily. That's completely worth whatever is coming his way just to get a private jet. Like I would definitely get in trouble with the law just to get myself onto a private jet. No question about it.
Here's the best response to the McGregor tweet. People with small heads. She got small head, where they just shrink the heads, and I mean, it's kind of perfect. Right. No Donegal media were allowed into the Fermanagh GAA press conference today. One Fermanagh publication has a sister paper in Donegal too. One Fermanagh-based freelancer was told that he wouldn't be welcome if he was filing copy to the Donegal media. That's from Chris McNulty. That's mental. Like, what? What? Come on.
Well, that's typical, I have to say. Gallagher is a bit of a master at this kind of stuff.
So just soaking up the rivalry and the...
Yeah. He's like, I mean, he definitely, like, even with McGuinness, McGuinness used Gallagher as a bit of a totem pole, if you remember, down over the years for various different things, getting involved with players or getting involved with other managers or whatever it was. So I think he's. Listen, I could be way off the mark here. It mightn't be his decision at all, but it's just okay. It's setting it up nicely. It's just starting to stoke the fires. I think they need to do that. I think they need to upset Donegal.
Yeah,
because otherwise it's going to be too nice.
Yeah, like, I mean, it's they're up against it from a football ability. They're massively up against it. Like, Donegal, I think, are a serious outfit at the moment. They've been really coming through well in the league, and I think they're just really starting to get it right. Some of the players that they've brought in are fantastic, and they blend that with the guys that they already have there.
And Michael Murphy looks fully fit. Like, he's galloping along there.
And unburdened of stuff. There's a difference when you're being asked to plug from 2 to 15. That kind of can wear you out mentally and physically. But when you're just told 14, 11, or whatever it is, that's you. Thank you very much. You're like, oh yeah, I'll have that.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a minute, because I figured Michael Murphy might be in some of our power ranking top 10s. If you want to send us in your top 10s, then now would be a good time to do them. Your top 3 even would probably be better. I just want to bring in one final back page. This is the Irish News. 2 good stories here. Gallagher plays down Donegal connection. That's Carol Kane. Basically, Rory Gallagher's making the point that he's had about 800 training sessions over the years with Michael Murphy and Frank McBrearty, etc. So they know exactly what he's going to do. If you just stick that back up, sorry. The bottom story on that one, the Irish News, was Tyrone lodge objection to result of brawl hit semi-final. Now, this is one of the most talked about under-20 matches that there has ever been. Tyrone get beaten after a second period of extra time in it by an Armagh team that were massive underdogs in that, after an absolute all-out brawl, which footage has emerged that has genuinely disgusted most people. And rather than kind of, okay, we're really sorry about our part in this, Tyrone are appealing the result because the referees made a mistake. There were 4 players sent off at the end of extra time, and then they were allowed to come back on. Or not allowed, they weren't, but they were allowed to refill those positions for the second period of extra time. But technically, under the rule book, that's actually the same period of extra time, so you're not allowed to refill. So technically Tyrone are within their rights to appeal this, but what a dick move it is to appeal this, to try and bring this back in and go, oh, actually we want to get back into this. Both teams should really be fecked out of that championship and not allowed to play next year as well.
Yeah, it's a strange one. But it often is one of those things whereby, you know, someone has taken a hold of this, someone in the county board and has said, okay, you know, we have a technicality here, let's just try and ram it home.
That's the problem with the GAA.
The thing was bad. Like, I mean, it's there has to be, you know, like once you get involved in this kind of stuff and once you have that kind of thing going on, it's just especially with everything, social media and everything now, it shines such a bad light on things. It was tough to watch.
Hands up, that was terrible. We're going to be dealing with that.
We'll take our
whatever.
Fine, bang, we'll move on.
No, we want to get back into the championship because we feel like somehow, even though both teams had the same amount of players sent off and both teams got back up to 15, we're within our rights here to appeal this and to take it to the highest court in the land. Like, that is ridiculous behaviour. But it is the stereotypical approach of a lot of counties. You think back over the years of the examples of counties that didn't bother going through the system. John Milan didn't appeal his sending off. And I actually think, well, maybe Waterford is a county full of good people when it comes to GA. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's Blatter-esque, really, isn't it, this move by Tyrone? It's like, when you talk about the brass balls of administrators, well, this is completely just a lack of awareness about oneself rather than brass balls, to be honest. But there is kind of a stench of Sepp Blatter about this.
All right, let's move